in this video we're working on a gas engine hot water unit. This one happens to be a Ramtech. It could be any hot water unit for that matter. Nature of the complaint on this one was that they had a ruptured hose. So when we get to the job site, we find the ruptured hose right here. This is right on the end. It's not in the middle. And we typically will see this kind of hose as pretty significant hose damage. It's a major breakage. We usually see that in a case where the hose has been bent like this right here and it becomes overbent. Somebody yanks on it, they could actually yank the end right out. Sometimes we see that right at the base of the shutoff gun. As they pull on the gun, they can put excess strain on the end of the hose and they can rupture the hose that way. Or if it screws into a hose reel and they stretch the hose all the way out and they want that little extra foot or two that they need and they yank on the hose, then they can put a bend on this and stress it out. The other time that we see a major rupture like this is if the heat exchanger stays on when the gun is closed and the system overpressurizes. It'll rupture a hose exactly like this. This is real important. Kind of a good visual image of what you're looking for in a major hose failure like this. And so what we did was different than what most companies do. Most companies, when they get a request for a hose exchange, they'll just come out and they'll just either drop the hose off and let the customer put it on, or they'll put on a hose and then they'll run. But what we do is we put the hose on and we actually test it. And after we installed the new replacement hose on the system, we went ahead and started it, checked for pressure, made sure there weren't any leaks, and then we went ahead and we started the heat exchanger. With the heat exchanger on, then we released the gun and the burner stayed on. So as most entry-level technicians understand, that it's very important that heat exchanger go off with the gun closed. In this case, the heat exchanger stayed on, which would cause an overpressurization. So in this system, we're looking for either a flow or a pressure switch, and this one happens to have a pressure switch. So we took the site cover off, which is explained in another training video, and we were able to isolate the micro switch. We've already done the repair on this, but typically when you remove the micro switch, what you're looking for is a clicking sound. And you can see that as my thumb goes back in and out, there is no clicking sound. So this micro switch right here was keeping the burner on, which was actually creating the hose failure. Had we just dropped off a hose and left it or installed it and not ran it, then we could potentially be setting up the user for a catastrophic injury, where if the burner stayed on again, the hose would rupture and then liability goes back to the last guy that worked on it. So it's really important that when we see issues like this, where we have a hose, that we go the extra mile, spend the extra few minutes, install the hose, pressurize the unit, make sure that there's not some underlying cause of hose failure. That way we can catch it before somebody gets hurt. It's important as a safety feature as well as an additional customer service. So if you have any questions about this, check with your supervisor or contact us on the internet at www.aefresno.com.